That is, the concern of Prahlada. So then he prays to the Lord to save those children. My friends, there are many incidents like that in our scriptures where they said that this human body is not just to enjoy pleasures. People, unfortunately, not knowing this fact, are caught up with the temporal pleasures, worldly experiences. We are not just denying that these are bad. No. Don't misunderstand me. We are not saying that these things to be given up in total. No. But remember that these are provided by God for you so that you can lead this boat well. These are oil to this boat. These are not just the end for this boat. You think that filling the gas in the boat is the end of everything, so that you can just keep on moving in the sea. You are lost then. You need to fill up the gas in the boat. But what the purpose of that is to take you to the other end, isn't it? Boat's purpose is the reaching the other end. And if you forget that, you have to go to the other end and start filling and rotating, filling and moving, rotating and playing. And whatever that is filled will be consumed, and then you are lost finally. So the purpose of the body, you have to fill it up with some kind of fuel. Yes, whatever you are enjoying, whatever are provided in the world, either food, the food to eyes, food to nose, food to ears, food to tongue, food to the skin, etc. All the sensory objects, all the pleasures that you are experiencing through the senses are also needed. They are not the goals, they are only the means, so that you can support this system, you can support this boat, and you can lead this boat to the end. Human body. We are talking about the human body, how precious it is, isn't it? We were talking about this in our last session. When the king Pravahana asked a few questions with a boy called Swetaketu, and he was very arrogant boy, thinking that he learnt everything, and his maiden attempt to deal with the world started from the Gurukula, came to this Pravahana, and then said, "Oh, my beloved king, I am a fresh student, and can you support me?" Then the king Pravahana was very happy to know that a young aspirant is here who finished his studies and trying to do something good. But he asked, "Oh, young aspirant Brahmachari, I'd like to ask you a few questions just for my clarity's sake. And are you able to answer them, because you studied for 12 long years with your gurus?" He said, "Yes." And then he asked 5 questions. And the boy was not really able to understand even a single question. 100% fail. Not able to bear with that insult. He ran back to his father and started crying. And father asked him, "What happened? What, anybody probably asked you anything? What are they?" And of course, he revealed to a little extent that he visited Pravahana. He asked a few questions, but this guy was not able to reply even a single question. Father asked, what are those questions? I don't want to tell them at all. And then the father said, it's okay. Let me go to Pravahana, the king, and I will ask, because probably whether I know them or not, I don't know. If really I know anything, how can I hide those things from you, my beloved child? I would have revealed all of them to you also. But anyway, let me clarify those things. Came to the king and asked the king about the questions he asked to his son. The king was very, very generous and so great. And then he followed the procedure as how he has to ask those questions, and he asked them. And the father said, I am really sorry, my beloved king, even I did not know these questions and answers, but I understand that you must be knowing. Otherwise, how can you ask these questions? These are very deep questions. So, I am ready to learn that from you, because good things can be learned from any source. No matter, from youngsters, from elders, from high class, low class, from village people, from the urban people. There's nothing prohibits one to learn good things from anyone. One may be the scholar of all the four Vedas, but the one who knows may be a pretty innocent villager. But still, if he is a real seeker, the Vedic scholar can approach that person and seek guidance from him. We understand, many stories like that from our scriptures. So here, the king Pravahana revealed those questions and their answers to the father of the Swetaketu, whose name was Aruni. His name was Aruni, and his son was Swetaketu. And then he thought that he was blessed. So my friends, one question among those five is very, very important for us to understand. Now, the five questions, actually we discussed about them during our last session. The first question is, if one is really practicing good things here, what we call as dharma. One who is really practicing good things here in this world, after leaving this body, where does that soul go? Karminam gantavyaha deshaha kaha was the first question. One who is in his duty and left the body by some reason, where does he reach? Very recently, I think probably most of us are aware that at the India-China border, there was a young warrior from our military who is from, of course, our neighboring town called Suryapeta. One Mr. Santosh Babu, who was in his duty for the sake of country and, of course, gave his life to save the country. A great colonel in the military. What will be his fate? His fate is reaching the divine abode. and being with God, because he left the body in his rendering his duty for the sake of a higher purpose, not for selfish goal. He did not lead his life for his own sake, nor for the sake of his family, but he led his life for the sake of the world, for the sake of his country, with all patriotism, filled up with patriotism. He gave his life. So, Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhokshase Mahim and Bhungshva Bhogan Samruddhan. For such people, he enjoys all sorts of divine things in the presence of the Lord. Is the fate of him, So one, if leaves the body while he was performing all his duties perfectly, who is called a karma yogi, what will be the fate of that person? Where does he reach? Was the first question. And that second question was how that soul returns to this abode after experiencing those punya karmas. How the soul returns was the second question. But the third question is, what are the established paths through which the souls travel after they leave this body? There are three paths. One is called yamyadi. Those who are ill-practiced, mal-practiced people, wrongdoers and cheaters, irresponsible people, like who are criticizing our government being in this country. What I think probably those people will experience is called yamyati. They go to Naraka and there they see all sorts of wrath, and that is one. And another established path was the dhumadi, traveling through which the soul comes back to this world and again gets a nice body, depending upon the past karmic store. Whatever is there in the store that pops up, that drives the soul, and again it reaches back to this world, which is still unknown to our scientific world. They know that life stops. They know the life starts. But after stopping the life, what happens till the new life starts? What would be the probable journey of the soul from one body to the other is still a pretty much unknown. Probably it can never be known also by these, the so-called scientists. It is so invisible to the scientific eyes, but it is pretty much visible to our Vedic sources or Vedic eyes. You know why? The reason is very simple, because these people are able to understand the things very well with their tapas, grace of God. Narada is once expresses himself with Brahma. Sarvam hyetat bhavan veda karamalakavat visvam vijnanavasitam tava. You are the repository of the knowledge. You are the repository of the knowledge, everything. And everything is pretty much visible to you, on your hand. Nothing is a secret to you. What? Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu whatever is past, whatever is the future, and whatever is continuing, and you know all these things so well. Sarvam hyetat bhavan veda. You know all these things by the grace of God. And because of him, the great sages were able to understand that. And because of them, our alvars were able to understand that. And because of them, our acharyas were able to understand that. And because of them, we also are able to understand that secret. But those who never believe in this lineage and just want to try on their own from the available sources like the mundane devices, they will never be able to touch upon these things at all. They just cannot. There is a lot of research going on the journey of the soul after it leaves the body, life after the life after the death, right? But that's pretty much difficult for them to understand. No, they may say that something is happening in a fog, but clarity will never be there until and otherwise they read the Vedic scriptures, which make the things pretty clear. Clouds will be dispersed and you can see the things so clear. Here, that is what we are trying to discuss, to understand that how lucky we are to get this human body. Here, we need not to discuss about all the questions asked by the Pravahana and all the answers given by Pravahana also, but talking about these three paths, like one is the Dhumadi, the other one is Yamyadi, where the souls go to the Naraka to experience all sorts of pains and stuff, and Dhumadi again to come back to this plane. And the third one is called Archiradi, traveling through which the soul need not come back at all. That soul definitely reaches the divine abode where it always leading enjoyable things with the grace of God. The path is called as Archiradi. And the one who is coming back to this plane goes through 5 fires. That's what he said. Panchamya vahuta vapaha purushavachaso bhavanti was the question. The soul going through 5 fires comes back to this world through Dhumadi Marga. Do you know those 5 fires? Was the question asked by the king. And of course, that is what we need to understand in a nutshell. Not in so much detail, but in a nutshell. So that we will be able to appreciate how precious this human life is and how we have to make the best use of this. And there he said, the king, while explaining that to the father of Swetaketu, Aruni, and he said, soul, after reaching this human plane, human body, first of all, it goes through the Agni. I think probably we know that because the first samskara to a dead person is the Agni samskara. It will be burned to ashes. This is the Vedic way of samskara I am talking about, not otherwise. I am very much surprised nowadays people who are leaving their bodies with the pandemic coronavirus, COVID-19, they are being buried. Whatever the religious things, let them be aside. But now, at least by seeing this, we should take care of this it's a pandemic, right? Then why such bodies which are caught up with the COVID-19 be buried. Burn them. At least now, when there is a big fire in a building and so many people burn to ashes, what the religious rules are doing then there? Are we not accepting that? At least for controlling this pandemic, for allowing it not to spread otherwise, what should be done? Those bodies, I think, must be burned. Then there won't be any kind of, occupying the whole earth with the graveyards, with the cemeteries. There need not be an island, to fill the bodies in that, what you call it there, what you call it, a dead island, or the island of dead bodies, island of gauze, There won't be any kind of need like that, to preserve those bodies, if they are burnt. I think probably our Vedic scriptures gave us a very perfect solution. First of all, see that the disease, whatever is there in the body, should not be spread. Fire. Agni is the first samskara. And there, of course, it will be purified to some extent physically. But of course, as we already know, our karma is not limited to the body. Our karma store is spread in many places. As today, we know the iCloud, right? iCloud is taking our data and preserving it in 3 locations. Even one is gone, another will be there. That is gone, another will be there. All there are mirror, stores which are very much preserved, isn't it? So all our karmas are also preserved. Indriyani, manaha, buddhi, asyadhisthana muchyate. These are the store places for the soul to keep all the karmic records. Major things are on the body. So burn it first. Let the major backlog go. And then other things also must be purified, isn't it? To purify them, the other Agnis will help. What are the other Agni? The other Agni is Parjanya, is the second Agni. How scientific it is when you understand. The soul goes. Soul is pretty invisible. So whether it is going or coming, we won't be able to see it anyway. But the scriptures, our Vedic scriptures are very much clear about it, that the soul goes and first the body will be purified here, so something is gone. And then the soul, catching its subtle body made of 5 subtle elements and 5 sensory organs and mind called manas, it leaves the body. Even with all these things, it is pretty invisible. Probably we won't be able to measure it in any form, like 0.0000000000000001, whatever the scale may be. Even that much it is not. Such a subtlest one. So it goes, and then it goes to the sun, and there with the sun rays it will be purified first. We know that sun rays are very, very powerful ones to purify anything. They burn. They also burn. And we don't know why people are scared of burning the bodies. Let it be there. And then another process is cooling it down. After processing through the sun rays, it comes to the moon rays, because moon rays are responsible for the rain. So through the moon rays, in a cooling process, the soul slowly comes down with its subtle body. And probably it must be catching the drops, dew drops that sanctify the earth with their touch, which is responsible for the growth of greenery. Right? That's how the soul comes back, either in the form of rain or in the form of dewdrops or through the moon rays. It comes back to the earth. This is second fire. There will be a kind of processing to the karmas, to reduce them. All the process is, to reduce the loads on the soul. And after that, the third fire is the earth. This is very crucial, I say. Crucial, why crucial? Because as a how it falls, how it moves, decides the whole thing. Of course, all that is pre-programmed. So, let us go with, first of all, in a very, very positive way, easier way. I'll explain you how critical it is later. But when you take it in a very positive sense, it comes down in the form of rain and falls on the green areas. That means it falls with a plant like the cereals, the millets, the rice, etc., or with the trees where there are fruits that people always use and consume as their food, and then it falls on the ground, and then through the roots it enters the plant. The soul, not one soul. There are trillions and jillions of souls like that, constantly making their journeys. So they fall on the earth, which is called third fire, and then it slowly grows and delivered as a fruit. It came out as a fruit in the tree. That means the soul, while traveling, gathering all the earthly elements, formed as a fruit. That means in the fruit, if you take it, every particle is filled up with many, many souls. Then, we're going with a positive path right now, isn't it? So, take it easily. And a person, a man has gone to the tree and then plucked the fruit and started eating the fruit. Now it entered the human body. And even in the human body, it entered the body, digested properly, and became his protecting system, blood. And even in that blood, it formed a white cell. Even among the white cells, it formed as oojas. That is, it formed as the spermatozoa. And then, this human body is the fourth, it became as the fourth fire, where with a long process of forming something in his body as a cell, the soul formed as a cell, and then started slowly expanding its body. And there, in the form of cell, it entered a woman's body. Then it started forming an embryo, a zygote. We discussed about it. And it takes probably 9 months or 10 months, or maybe sometimes less or high. And then it delivered as a baby on the earth again. Look, the soul who left the body travels through first of all the sun rays, then the moon rays, and then on the earth in the form of rain, and then occupied a place in a tree, and then a fruit, and then in the human body, formed a cell, and then started growing in the mother's womb and delivered as a baby. This is the 5 fire process through which the soul gets back a human body. These are called Pancha Agnis. This is a great secret, what explained in our scriptures. What we need to understand here, the very, very important thing, that when the soul comes back to the earth, there is every chance of missing the body. I'll tell you how. When the soul, with the moon rays and rain drops or dew drops falling on the earth, suppose its karma is so bad, just like those people criticizing our prime ministers and our ministers and our rulers and countries' policies and stuff, they after don't fall, they never fall in the greener area, they fall somewhere in drainages. Then there will be some insects they eat, they form something in their body. Those insects may be eaten by some birds, then they go into the birds' bodies. There they may form in the form of excreta in the bird's body, they may fall somewhere. That bird may be eaten by a cat, they go into the cat's body. The cat may be killed by a dog, they go into a dog body. That dog may be eaten by some people who eat everything that moves. In some countries there are people, you understand? They eat everything that moves, no matter what it is. They eat by living only, not after killing. And they enjoy eating such things, And then this guy may go there and again may go into their bodies, and again we don't know the fate. How long it goes on and on rotating. Another chance I'll tell you. When the soul falls on the earth, that is from the second fire, it is entering the third level of the fire, earth. Sometimes imagine that those drops fell in the ocean. We don't know never when it comes back to the shore. Sometimes a fish may eat, that fish may be eaten by another bigger fish, that may be eaten by a whale. Probably that whale may die somewhere in the middle of the ocean. Some sharks may eat it, and again it may go to the shark. We don't know how long it takes. Or else that may fall in some desert, and if the rain falls in the desert, and how long the soul has to rest there, we don't know. It will be just lying there. My friends, don't think falling in the earth in a green area, everything becoming positive. No. Imagine the soul fell where there are trees with the raindrops, okay? And then the tree also absorbed those raindrops along with the souls. Then the soul entered the tree, a plant. But there is every chance of forming the trunk, not the fruit, because every particle that is absorbed from the earth, from the air, from the sun rays, from the water is not going to form the fruit. Some particles may form the trunk, some particles may form the bark, some particles branches, some particles leaves, some particles stalks. Even forming the fruit also, some may form the skin which is thrown out. Some particle may form the seed which is also thrown out. Then the fate is gone back. Remember, if that fate, then what happens? The leaves are eaten by maybe a goat, and then he started moving in the goat's body. In that goat body, he may take the form of a skin of the goat, or horn of the goat, or maybe the hanging beard of the goat, or maybe sometimes the ears of the goat, or maybe the shit of the goat. Then goes back. Or sometimes the goat probably might be killed by a lion, a tiger, a jackal, and again goes to that body. Again the cycle starts. This chance of missing the things at every step, by some chance probably, if he enters the body like a cow, let us think. The plant was eaten by a cow, okay? Blessed, isn't it? But even then, in the cow body, he may form the skin, or he may form the gobar, the cow dung, or he may form the milk. If he formed milk, then he is a blessed one, because there is a chance of drinking someone. Suppose if that milk was taken by a calf, then goes back to the calf body. And even he formed the milk, and the milk came to a human being, and the human being offered that to God. To that extent he is saved. To that extent only he was saved. But after going to the temple and offered to God, and then it came back, and probably the milk was distributed, some to the human beings, and of course it was taken by a human, by a man, then there is a chance of entering the human body. But suppose if that milk was again, after giving to some people, given to probably some cat, or probably that milk was thrown out, because some milk will be sticking to the glass, to the vessel also, no? Suppose if it is left like that, the souls are there in those drops, those souls have missed the chance again. That means their fate is only to that extent. We need to understand something here. There is a saying, not saying, the Veda says, the scriptures talk about soul never remain without the body. Immediately after leaving the body, another body will be ready. Another body is just ready. Then you may ask, how the 5 fires process? Right? It is there. But the scriptures said that another body is ready immediately, means soul never remains without body, is also right. It gets there with the fire in the Dhyuloka. First the body is called Somo Raja, then it's called Parjanya, then it's called Prithvi, then it's called Manava, then it is called Yoshit, then it is a human body. Body are there, but the examples which I am showing you, like missing the chances. Missing the chances means after coming to the human body, suppose he formed the hair, because hair is also formation of few cells only, no? Few cells only. They form the hair, they form the nails, they form the bones, they form the skin, they form the blood. Only few blessed souls will form the cell which can take another body. Suppose those cells form the hair. Again, barber cut those hair and then has taken away. And we don't know where he is keeping that hair. Lost. Suppose those cells, after entering the human body, formed the excreta. Gone. Formed bones. Gone. No other chance for getting a body. Until otherwise, this body is totally disposed of. In total. Formed skin. Suppose some accident, skin was bruised, then the fate is gone. Formed blood. Forming blood is an interior level, isn't it? Formed blood, but then by some accident blood is lost, gone into the earth. Chance missed. Understand, at every step there is a way to miss it. My friends, crossing all those problems, we got the human body. Do you think it is easy? Durlabha. Don't think that we got it because of our own greatness. Don't think getting this kind of body is easy every now and then. No, not at all. I told you, when you are in the process of entering something, there is every chance of missing the chance also. Getting new bodies. You are getting new bodies. Every now and then the soul is getting new bodies, isn't it? Getting a body, leaving the body also. When formed on the earth, got a body of tree. Became a leaf, got another body. Eaten by animal, got another body. Killed the animal and eaten by another animal, got a body. Man ate it, got another body. And again that man was killed by another animal and eaten by that, got a chance, lost the chance, and again another body. Every moment is getting the bodies and leaving the bodies and getting the bodies and leaving the bodies. The karma is consumed that way. The karmic records are consumed in that way because his fate is to get an animal body, got an animal body and left it also. I told you, got a great chance of becoming milk in a cow and again came to the temple, offered to the god out of good virtues. Some punya karma is there. So he came to the temple and was offered to God, and again that milk was taken by a cat. That means that punyam has gone, again some papam took him to the cat body. That cat was killed by a dog, again that punyam gone and went into some other animal. You understand? Suppose again he entered a human body, and from that human body again he formed as an excreta, and that was eaten by an insect, and again he entered the body of an insect. That insect was killed brutally by something else, gone there. All insects are not eaten by other animals. Some insects were crushed on the ground and they remain there only for long. That means the souls which formed that body will remain there only. For how long we don't know. But again there may be a chance where again it will be transformed into the earth and again takes a body of a tree, a plant, and from that plant again the cycle starts. But how long he has to suffer in that body of that skin, of that mud, of that stone, we don't know. Very, very difficult. This third fire, what is called Prithvi, falling from the rain, falling through the rain on the earth, and before entering the human body and forming the cell, that is eligible to get a body again, is not an easy task. Even after getting the human body and forming into the blood and again taking the form of the cells, when the process of the what you call that reproductive system, millions and trillions of cells go simply waste. They go waste. Only one cell among billions will get the chance of getting a new body. What about them? Even if the soul formed a human cell, still only his punyam is to that extent to be in that body for some time and again gone waste. You understand how difficult it is? Now, even after coming into a human body, right, from there to a female body, after forming the zygote and when start growing, there is every chance of missing at every moment. Every moment. You need to ask an OBGY doctor. They will explain to us how difficult it is. survived so many problems and came out to see the world is not an easy task. It's not an easy task. We got it. We crossed all those things, all those hurdles by great punyam, probably accumulated in many births. Probably some great guru's grace might have fallen on us, brought us to this human plane, and we are here now in the form of humans. My friends, this is a great opportunity for us to make best use of it. Best use, as long as you are here, put all the energies and efforts to support it and also to understand the world around. Realizing your own responsibilities, not only just duties, but also responsibilities at the level of maintaining the body properly in a modest way. Taking care of your family to the extent it is needed, not with unwarranted responsibilities. Wherever it is needed, how far you have to take care of the people in the family. Then understanding the society around as how you have to respond to the call of the nation where you are living. Now this is a very high time for us to respond to the call of our nation. Understand? It's a call of the nation now for our Bharat. Because now we have to take care of the country. How to respond? Is it monetarily? Is it physically? Is it intellectually? That is our probably the response in understanding and just doing something for that. If it is needed to support the country, support the military with some of our earnings, do it. If it is needed, yes, give something to the Prime Minister's fund, like 100 rupees, 1000 rupees, or whatever it is, and make it strong so that they can support the military, so that they can take care of the country. We need not occupy somebody's land. We need not fight with others unnecessarily. But if somebody raises their hand to occupy our own area, and if they raise their arm to cause damage for what that's not theirs, we need to respond, give an appropriate answer to those people, for which we need to respond. Our support from all of us, no matter who you are, is very much needed for such kind of thing. That is your responsibility to the society. And the next level is the world. We are in a pandemic situation which is called COVID-19. How to respond? Follow your personal purity, what you call distancing, personal distancing. Some people call it social distancing, but it's okay. But what we call the personal distancing, personal cleanliness and cleanliness of the society. How to follow the distancing, how to keep yourself clean, how to keep yourself always in a protective mode, and then how to move with the society, and how to increase your immune system, how to strengthen your immunity. Work with these things, and then realize your role, surrendering to God. Unquestionable surrender. Understand? Unconditional surrender to God, and make His abode, make this body as His abode, and let Him drive you with the things that are given, and then start working. Do all these things with His grace. No, this body is for that purpose. This brain is for that purpose. The mind is for that purpose. The heart is for that purpose. And none of these things are prepared, made, cooked, purchased, brought by you. Neither by your mom or dad. It's given by Him. This is not made in China. This is made in heaven. This is made by God for the purpose of God. Use it for God's sake. Use it for God's purpose. And this is God's place. And if you are able to live like that, your purpose of becoming a man is served. Then only you are fit to be called as a human being. Forget about other things. But it is to become a human being that you need to realize these things. And you have to live like that. Let's respond. Bhagavatam gives all these details to us in a very, very elaborate manner. Of course, people look at Bhagavatam in a different way. We look in a way that is very much needed today. Some people may be expecting what are the scientific things that Swamiji is going to talk about. My purpose is not showing that something is scientific here, but my purpose is whatever is said in Bhagavatam is very, very apt, and it is so scientific. Unfortunately, people call it is scientific, which they are able to prove. But you are not able to prove doesn't mean it is unscientific. What you have to say is probably it is yet to be known. That much you can say. Anybody can say that. But all that we call science, all that we know is only an iota of the whole. And our great sages understood that whole and made our lives fit for that purpose. And they showed the path so that we can walk through that path. Don't underestimate, don't hate, or don't overlook whatever is seen by our scientists so far. Take the help of this and walk in that path, which makes our human life more meaningful and really purposeful. We offer our Mangala Sasanams to all our Bhagavad Bandhus for taking good time with us in these wonderful sessions. We offer Mangala Sasanams to one and all. Let God bless us. Let God bless our country. Let God bless our Bharat. And let us go with the world. And let's be able to answer all those meek people who are doing wrong things. God bless you all. Let our Veera Hanuman Virat Setu Diksha go well and powerful. Jai Sriman Narayana. Jai Sriman Narayana.
సెరెనిటీ మోడల్ హై స్కూల్ విద్యార్థులకు అమ్మఒడి సామాన్యులకు అందుబాటులో ఉన్న బడి సెరెనిటీ మేడ్చల్ జిల్లాలో మేటిగా నిలిచి సాటిలేని ఫలితాలను సాధిస్తున్న నంబర్ 1 స్కూల్ సెరెనిటీ. మా ప్రత్యేకతలు ప్రతి విద్యార్థి పట్ల వ్యక్తిగత శ్రద్ధ, యాక్టివిటీ బేస్డ్ లెర్నింగ్ అండ్ డిజిటల్ క్లాస్ రూమ్స్, కంప్యూటర్ ల్యాబ్, 100% ఫలితాలు, స్పోర్ట్స్ అండ్ కల్చరల్ యాక్టివిటీస్, యోగా, అబాకస్ మరియు వేదిక్ మ్యాథ్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్. ప్లీజ్ విజిట్ Serenity Model High School, Nagaram. Admissions are in progress. Call 040-271-46899 and 040-271-48699.